Welcome back! My name is Ballerscuba. This is Video Games Over Time! We are still in 1986, and we are still in Leather Goddesses of Phobos. We last left off, we made it maybe about halfway through the game, maybe a little bit less. We should be able to beat the game today. Let us see what we can do. When we last left off, we basically set a trap for the Venus flytrap. It was a Venus flytrap trap, and it worked. So let's go past where the Venus flytrap was. So that would be west from where we were with the trap, and west one more time to the spawning ground. As if this hasn't already been a rough enough day. You have stumbled upon a spawning ground for Venusian slime beasts. The ground is oozy with proto-slime. Fortunately, these beasts are still in the earliest and least deadly stage. Only one spot is free of slime, the black circle near the path to the east. Inexplicably, sitting next to the circle, untouched by time or slime, is a jar of ointment. And Trent is still with us. Once again, we are playing on the Lewd setting. Nothing has come up yet, but we will see what happens as a result of that. Nothing too bad has happened, and we're like halfway through the game, so we'll see if that amounts to anything. We'll go ahead and take the jar. We'll open the tea remover, and then we will put the jar in tea remover. Then we will close the tea remover. Then we will turn on tea remover. You gotta have the jar in order to catch the teas. Sparks, explosions, pocket of feep, exclaims the machine. Open the tea remover again. Drop the tea remover. Opening the odd machine reveals a jar of unangling cream. I don't know what unangling cream is. But we're going to go ahead and drop it and take the jar. And now we can enter the circle. Alright, another thing obtained. Another circle to spawn us around a bit. Okay, now yeah, we go through a warp again, and hold! You are in the cargo hold of a giant spaceship. A tiny viewport is set into the curving steel hull, and arched passageways lead in directions that we will arbitrarily call south and southwest. One item in the hold is a sword, a potent weapon with a long, hard blade of glistening steel. A few seconds later, you see Trent's earlobe appear, followed almost immediately by the rest of him. A radium-powered grenade clatters against the desk. You glimpse a shadowy figure dressed in black slipping away. Trent yells to hit the deck and hurls himself onto the grenade. A sickening explosion splatters Trent all around the room. As you struggle to control your shock and nausea, your eyes fill with tears. You hang your head in sorrow for a moment to honor your brave, loyal companion who gave his life that humanity might be safe from the terrible scourge of the Leather Goddesses of Phobos. We're going to go ahead and take the blade. There's no waiting this time. Apparently that was the end of Trent. Let's head south to the stable. This must be the flagship for the Leather Goddesses of Phobos main attack fleet. Since this stable contains the Leather Goddesses of Phobos main attack fleet cavalry mounts. The most striking horse is a magnificent white stallion. There are exits to the north and south. Let's mount the stallion, and then we will head west. Kicking your proud mount forcefully in the flank, you gallop down a long corridor pulsing with light. Above the echoes of the hoofbeats, you can almost feel the throbbing of mighty engines. After a minute of wild riding, we're at the main hatch on the stallion. To the north, the main hatch of the flagship is closed. A long corridor leads east. Hanging by the hatch is a white, form-fitting thermosuit. Well, let's go ahead and dismount first. Then we will take the suit. Then we will wear the suit. It's therma, after all, and it's form-fitting. How nice. Let's go ahead and open the door and head out into space. You are floating in outer space near a battleship to the south and a small passenger spaceship to the north. Hanging from the base of the long, potent-looking battleship are two pendulous, brimming fuel tanks. Saturn looms below you, with her rings sparkling in the sunlight. A figure in black, and doubtless the same person who tossed the grenade into the hold, is near the smaller ship. Given his mean expression and characteristic black outfit, it must be Thorbast, the chief assassin for the Leather Goddesses of Phobos. Thorbast is struggling with a young woman of wealthy garb and demeanor. Noticing you, he straps the woman to the hull of the small passenger spaceship and jumps toward you, stopping just a few feet away. With a chillingly evil grin, he draws a long pointed sword. Ah, the escaped prisoner. Disposing of you will be a small but enjoyable feather in my cap. As he speaks, a foul odor wafts towards you. Attack Thorbast with the sword. You nick Thorbast on the arm, drawing blood. A bug-eyed monster, sort of a cross between a space squid and a humanoid tree, swims into view. Its hideous bark is covered with squirmy little suckers, and its branches wave about like tentacles. It takes one look around and heads straight towards the defenseless young woman. Thorbast lunges at your chest, but your own blade knocks his away in the nick of time. Yeah, we're just going to keep on attacking Thorbast here. Your sword misses Thorbast by inches. The alien monstrosity reaches the young woman, and its tentacles begin undulating toward her clothing. Thorbast lunges at your chest, but your own blade knocks his away in the nick of time. Alright, attack Thorbast. A mighty swing, but Thorbast easily dodges in this light gravity. The monster begins to undress the poor woman, who begins to shriek in terror. Thorbast's blade whirls invisibly towards you. Ducking, you feel the blade whiz by an inch above your head. Whiz by an inch above your head. There we go. Attack Thorbast again. You nick Thorbast on the arm, drawing blood. The monster continues to undress the poor woman, who continues to shriek in terror. You fend off a volley of powerful blows, leaving you dizzy. Attack Thorbast again, while I'm dizzy. You nick Thorbast on the arm, drawing blood. The monster continues to undress the poor young woman, who continues to shriek in terror. Thorbast feints backward, then launches a blow straight at your neck. Moving with a speed rarely associated with anything besides self-preservation, you parry, knocking the sword out of Thorbast's hands. It drifts towards you, spinning slowly. That's what we were waiting for. Let's take the blade. The monster continues to undress the poor woman, who continues to shriek in terror. Thorbast eyes you warily. We're going to give his blade to Thorbast. You have to specify his blade, I believe. As Thorbast accepts the sword, he realizes that such a gesture is the final proof that you are the good guy, and therefore he hasn't got a chance of winning. Being a practical person, Thorbast saves both of you a lot of time and aggravation by goring himself on his own blade. Spewing droplets of blood, his body drifts away into the blackness of space. The monster continues to undress the poor young woman, who continues to shriek in terror. Alright, we will then slay the monster. The tree monster squawks and flees, proving that its bark is worse than its bite. Lots of puns. Let's untie the woman. You untie the young woman, who, beckoning you to follow, enters the small passenger spaceship. We will head north to follow her. And we have made it to the space yacht. This is the main cabin of a fashionable passenger ship with exits to the east and south. You can see a young woman here. The young woman turns to you. I am called Alicia. My father is the wealthiest man in the system. You will be grandly rewarded for saving me from that horrible kidnapper. She grabs a photo off the wall, scribbles on the back of it, and hands it to you. Here is father's address. See him the next time you're on Ganymede, and you will be handsomely repaid. But now I must retire to my cabin to recover from this hideous ordeal. She curtsies a bit unsteadily and exits to the east, closing the door behind her. Of course she's like the daughter of the wealthiest man, or the king, or whatever. Of course she is. Let's go ahead and put the photo in the bag. And then we can head out of here, south back to space, and south to the main hatch. To the north, the main hatch of the flagship is open. A long corridor leads east. You can see a stallion here. You hear panting as Trent dashes up behind you, somewhat out of breath. Yeah, they did it twice. Like, why would you give me a fake out like that twice? Good, you're still here. Thank God that time traveler who wandered by the hold had a matter reconstitutor. Oh, thank God. All right, let's get back on the stallion. Let's just ignore Trent. Then we'll head east from here. Oh, Trent's on the horse behind me. We're both on the horse together. And kicking your proud mount forcefully in the flank, you gallop down a long corridor, pulsing with light. Above the echoes of the hoofbeats, you can hear, almost feel, the throbbing of mighty engines. After a minute of wild riding, we've made it to the stable. We're still on the stallion. Same place that we were before, though. So let's go ahead and dismount here. And then we will head west to the long corridor. You are partway along an east-west hall of mind-numbing length. Rings of light pulsate along the corridor in rhythm with the ship's throbbing engines. Openings leading east and northeast. Also, it just occurred to me that the reason that they got rid of Trent for that period of time was so that we had to fight that assassin solo. That was the reason for that. Either way, west to the long corridor. You are partway along an east-west hall of mind-numbing length. Rings of light pulsate along the corridor in rhythm with the ship's throbbing engines. And no openings this time. West again, but this time, a tiny alcove contains a black circle. So we're going to go ahead and enter the circle again. Geronimo this time. Interesting. You appear in mid-air, high above a canal-studded desert scape. The ground is approaching uncomfortably fast. Caw! A pterodactyl snatches you and Trent in mid-air and deposits you safely in. That probably wasn't a very good pterodactyl impression. Another ruin! This ancient castle now lies in ruins. There do seem to be quite a few of them around here, eh? All that remains of its once proud ramparts are dust and rubble, and an occasional stone block. A path leads away from the ruin to the west, to the east unchartable desert. Sitting on one of the stone blocks is a large green frog. Something about it catches your eye. A few seconds later, you see Trent's left buttock appear. We know his butt very well. Followed almost immediately by the rest of him. I'm missing something here. I think he dropped me at the wrong spot. Because I'm in the ruined castle, and that must have been random. So let's see here. What I'm looking for is kind of the oasis. West, that's the Martian desert. East. Yeah, a path leads away. East. No, now we're back at the desert. West. I can't go back. Northwest to another ruin. Let's say west twice to yet another ruin. All right, that's where I needed to go eventually anyway. So apparently I just got to skip the oasis. So there we go. I made it to yet another ruin. Wind whistles among the fallen archways, crumbled balustrades, and black circle of this ruined castle. It's no wonder this section of Mars is considered the ruined castle capital of the solar system. Paths lead east and northwest through the rubble. Let's go northwest then to Hickory and Dickory Dock. This dock, which extends north into a broad canal, is crafted of fine woods from across the solar system. Hickory wood from the forests of Earth, and dickory wood from the jungles of Venus. A path leads south. You spot a little white Mars mouse running along the dock, because it's from Mars. It's a Mars mouse. We're going to show the painting to the mouse. The mouse freezes with fear, so now we can take it. We're going to drop the painting and the blade. I don't think we need them anymore. Then we can head south to yet another ruin, east to the Martian desert, north to the ruin. We've been to the ruin, right? I think so. North again, this time to the throne room. This is the throne room of the once potent King Mitre. Oh, yeah, we've gone through all of that before. What is new, though, is the last paragraph. King Mitre sits upon the throne, looking dejected and lonely. Next to him is a pile of 45-degree angles. One stands out from the others. Thanks to its golden hair and flowing white gown, the main entrance of the throne room is to the south, but a tight opening leads north. So we're going to put the cream, it's unangling cream, right? Put the cream on the angle. As the lotion soaks in, the angle slowly transforms into a beautiful princess. Mitre, gushing tears of happiness, cries, "You have restored my beloved Theta to me." Oh, that's a math joke. He reveals a perfect 82-degree angle. "I only brushed against it," explains the king. "Please accept it along with my thanks." He reaches out to shake your hand. Yeah, theta is kind of the default angle. Like x is a number, theta is an angle a lot. Either way, we are going to drop the jar. And then we're going to take that 82-degree angle that we need for Trent's machine, I think it was. Let's go north from there. As you leave, you hear behind you a sound like a 45-degree angle landing on a pile of 45-degree angles. "Oh shit, not again," you hear Mitre moan. Didn't last long. We've made it to the royal docks. During the peak of King Mitre's reign, a cruel joke went around the kingdom that Mitre's two greatest loves were his royal docks and his royal ducks. We've talked about that before. A barge, handcrafted from fine Martian cedar wood, is moored at the end of the dock. All right, let's enter the barge then. You're now in the royal barge. Trent gets in behind you. You know some simple controls. Look at controls. The controls consist of a huge orange button and a huge purple button. Both buttons have writing on them. Read orange button. Huge orange button reads Magneto More on. So let's push that again. Well, really the first time. The writing on the button changes as you press it. The barge slides away from the dock into the deeper waters of the canal. So we're in the Martian Canal in the royal barge. The royal barge rocks gently in the current of the wide canal. A dock is visible on the southern shore. Let's wait. The royal barge drifts further down the canal. The royal barge rocks gently in the current of a wide canal. The banks of the canal are steep and sandy. All right, so I want to wait, and this time we're going to wait for something in particular. What does it say? The banks of the canal are steep and sandy. The dark clouds of a sandstorm are visible on the horizon. That doesn't sound good. We'll keep waiting. Sculpted reddish sand dunes rise into view beyond the banks of the canal. We'll keep waiting. Wow, there's a whole lot of stuff here. All right, a smaller canal flows diagonally into this one, and the channel widens slightly to accommodate the heavier flow. Sculpted reddish sand dunes rise into view beyond the banks of the canal. We will wait. There we go. A dock is visible on the northern shore. Then we will push orange again. The barge drifts towards the dock on the northern shore, butting against it with a loud clank. So yeah, you kind of, like you turn the magnet on and off. That's basically what happens. And we've made it to the baby dock. We're still in the royal barge. This tiny dock, partly buried by drifting sand, extends south into the canal. A break in the sand forms a trail to the north. All right, let's get out and then head north. Now we're among the dunes. You are in a tiny basin protected by dunes from the fierce Martian winds. The dunes are impassable, except to the south. A strange alien, probably a member of one of the ancient warrior races of Mars, lies dead at the base of a dune. Lying next to the body, partially buried in the sand, is a strange coded message. The The alien may have died of acute chapped lips, a perennial problem in the arid Martian climate. If so, it was a sudden death, for the lip balm near the body is completely unused. Interesting. We will take the code and the balm. We'll probably need those. Let's read the code. And then it gives us this. Remember that in the comic book, it said that it was like a 3-letter cipher? And that's basically what this is. Yeah, unfortunately... hold on, let me translate it. Apparently they're not just going to translate it for me. I was hoping that the walkthrough would just do it for me. It's also backwards. So that is not always helpful. Yeah, let me try to translate this. All right, found somebody else that translated it. That saved me a bit of time because I already kind of said what the solution was, but it takes a while to work it out. So what it says is, and it reads backwards, so you have to do it backwards. It says, your mission is to contact wife number, and then it gives you a random number, so ours is 201, of the Sultan. If you're playing female, it'll say Sultan S. And get the secret map. Identify yourself to her by asking her to kiss your kneecaps. You get all that? Good, because it's going to be important. Okay, so we don't need the code anymore. Well, I don't because I have a guide, but you might want to write all that down. A lot of things you need to write down for this game. Let's go ahead and head south again and get back on the barge. And then we will push the orange and we will wait. Okay, a dock is visible on the southern shore. The dark clouds of a sandstorm are visible on the horizon. Okay, this time we're going to push the purple. The royal barge rocks gently in the currents of a wide canal. The banks of the canal are steep and sandy. Sculpted reddish sand dunes rise into view beyond the banks of the canal. I believe this is pushing us up. Okay, we'll wait again. The canal curves sharply to the south. We'll wait again. Just behind, the canal curves sharply to the west. The dark clouds of a sandstorm are visible on the horizon. Okay, we will push the orange on this point. Yeah. Okay. The barge drifts towards the dock on the eastern shore. Yeah, there are docks on both banks, so we went east by pushing the orange, butting it against it with a loud clank. Now this is my kind of dock in the royal barge. If I owned a pier on a major Martian canal, I'd want it to look just like this one. Handsome, well-proportioned, and amply endowed with jade and ivory. I could probably live without the alabaster stair, which leads up at the end of the dock to the east. All right, we'll exit and then we'll head east to the main hall of the palace. A shaft of sunlight penetrates the stained glass windows and glistens off a large reflecting pool, filling this huge entry hall with a seductive pattern of tantalizing colors. Gleaming marble pillars rise majestically from the pool to support a towering arched roof. You are on a branching pathway suspended above the pool, leading toward shadowy archways in every direction. Let's head east to the Oriental Garden. These twisted trees and elegant footbridges are even more beautiful than the gardens of the most lavish Fu Manchu films. Paths from the north, southeast, and west meet at a large well of hand-carved stone in the center of the garden. We'll go north from here to the audience chamber. The good news is that this hall is intoxicatingly beautiful, laid with the snow-white fur of the rare Martian velvet worm and endowed with platinum arches and balustrades. Silky curtains embrace openings to the south, southwest, and west. The bad news is that no one has ever entered the audience chamber of the Sultan and departed alive. The Sultan is here, enthroned. Trent trails along. "Ah," says the Sultan, "a visitor. This is pleasing. It was turning out to be a very dull morning. He clears his throat. The rules. I will pose a riddle. If you answer it correctly, you may spend 1 hour with any of my wives. If you answer incorrectly, you will die. If you do not answer, you will die. If you enter the harem before answering, you will die. If you attempt to leave, you will die. If you touch me in any way, you will die. If I happen to sneeze, you will die. If any situation not covered by the rules occurs, you will die. He motions to one of the palace eunuchs. Go tell the animal tenders not to feed the tigers yet. Pause. Are you ready? Okay. Yes. Here, then, is the riddle. Don't strain your head. No one's ever gotten it right. You hear a growling snarl from somewhere nearby. Some say I'm pointless, yet many are obsessed by me. I have caused heroic gambles and sown endless frustration. Uncounted deaths have I caused. What am I? Trent steps briskly forward. This doesn't sound good for Trent right now. That's easy, he yells. A grapefruit. As the eunuchs snicker behind their weapons, the Sultan cries, Wrongo! And Trent is led away. As you hear from nearby, a fierce roar followed by a blood-curdling scream. Your eyes fill with tears. You hang your head in sorrow for a moment to honor your brave, loyal companion who gave his life that humanity might be safe from the terrible scourge of the Leather Goddesses of Phobos. We're super serious this time. Your turn to guess, says the Sultan, looking gleeful. The answer is riddle. The Sultan looks crestfallen. Yes, that's right. The Sultan is struck by a thought. Can we kill him anyway? He begins arguing loudly with one of his legal advisors. This might be a good time to make a beeline for the harem to the west. Let's do that then. So, we're finally getting to raunchiness? Like, not the way that I would have imagined, but it seems like we're getting there. A well-armed female guard blocks you. Congratulations on your performance, she says in a bored voice. You wonder how the guard can be so unmoved by your historic feat. As though sensing your thoughts, the guard says, the Sultan likes to pretend that no one's ever gotten the riddle, but someone got it last year. The word spread around, and now everyone knows the answer. You're the 12th winner this week already. He's sent away to Maud's House of Riddles on Ganymede for a new one, but the mail is so slow. The guard shakes her head. Well, pick a wife, any number from 1 to 8,379. Don't waste time thinking, they're all clones anyway. She looks at you expectantly. All right, we're going to pick, and then the number that we had, which was 201. The guard consults its list. Vacationing on Ceres. Pick another number. What? But that was my number. My code was... Oh! It's backwards. 102. The guard walking off says, I'll summon that one. You may enter. Yeah, all right, so they were a little forgiving for me because I forgot that the entire code was backward. For whatever reason, I put the number forwards. Anyway, we picked the right number, which for us was 102. And in order to enter, we go west. Into the harem. This is a sensuous location of silks and satins and furs. A draped exit leads east. A pleasant odor tickles mischievously at your nose. Mischievously. All right, we will wait. Come to me, wife 102. A figure completely cloaked in veils of silk enters and beckons you deeper into the harem. Now we've made it to the inner harem. This luxurious bedroom, presumably one of many throughout the harem, is appointed with a multitude of exotic furs. Warm to the touch as though still alive, the heady aroma of perfume and incense mingle in the air. There's an exit to the southeast. Sultan's wife number 102 touches a button at the shoulder of her tunic and it slowly floats to the floor. She pulls you down onto the furs, whispering in a husky voice, For an hour I am yours. Can I kiss your kneecaps? Oh, whispers Sultan's wife number 102. You're from the rebels. Here's the secret map. No! My hour! She says, laying a secret map at your feet. And here's a reliable torch, she says, lighting a reliable torch and placing it next to the map. She moves some furs to reveal an secret entrance leading downwards. The only way out is through the catacombs. If you come back this way with the secret map, the harem guards will... All right, we'll put the angle and the mouse in the bag just to clear up some room here. And then we will take the map and torch. This is a good time to save. I haven't really done that to this point, so yeah, it's probably important. Okay, we got some ways to go. Let's head down. As you leave, Sultan's wife number 102 throws herself into your arms. Her ample bosom presses against your chest as she whispers into your ear, "Please, oh please, be careful down there." She kisses you longingly, but eventually you descend, reluctantly, into the gloom of the catacombs. I had an hour and it was wasted. But we made it to the catacombs. Apparently there's a cheat you can do to do this. If you just put $ catacomb, it cheats. We're not going to do that. We'll do what we're supposed to do. You have to remember the comic, though. You're at a junction within an ancient crumbling catacomb. Your torchlight pierces the gloom for only a few feet in each direction. As a result of an ancient leak, the catacombs are knee-deep in warm, brackish canal water. "Yo," says Trent, tapping your shoulder. "Who would have guessed he would have made it again? Looks like my number was up that time. Would have been if those dimension-hopping midgets hadn't come through at the right moment." What? Good thing the tiger cage leads to the catacombs, eh? He brushes a stray patch of fur off his shoulder. Not politically correct anymore. All right. Let's go ahead and ignore everything that happened with Trent and head northwest. You wade into the gloom and find a dark and winding tunnel. You're at a junction within an ancient crumbling catacomb, right? That's the same thing that we saw before. Yeah, everything's the same. Then we will go north. Nothing new here. Then we will go northeast. Then we will go east. Then, do you remember? We will clap. This is what we were told by the professor in the comic book last video. All right. Then we'll head northeast. Northeast, southeast, then we'll hop, clap, and Queepa. A Martian hawk, hearing the cry of a possible mate, flies up and begins squawking and flapping a mating ritual. As it pauses to catch its breath, it takes a better look at you, rubs its eyes, and flies quickly away. All right, from Queepa, we go down. Then we go northwest, then northeast, then clap, then we will go north, south. Yeah, it's just all repeating itself. Hop, northeast, clap. The torch is starting to wear out, by the way. Clap, up, Queepa, and then northwest. And we made it through the catacombs. Kind of. We've made it to the forgotten storehouse. No living creature can even guess how long the storehouse has sat amidst the catacombs, undisturbed by man or by time, touched by wars and weather, a silent witness to the passing eons, the rise and fall of empires, the births and deaths of countless billions. Its only visitors, the dark waters of a Martian canal. Sitting in one corner is a Cleveland telephone directory. What, you thought we were going to get it in Cleveland? Are we not grabbing that? Don't I need that? I'm going to drop a save here because my guide is not telling me to get the directory, but I feel like we need the directory. All right. Clap, northwest. Hop, south. Southeast. Clap, southeast, down, Queepa. Northeast, clap, hop, west, north. Oh, we've made it to a ladder room. That's new. This spot is much like the rest of the catacombs, except that a ladder leads up into darkness, but I'm told we're just ignoring that. So let's head northwest. And then we will clap. East. West. Quipa. Hop. Clap. Southwest. Did I do it wrong? I was told that this would have taken me to something else. I feel like I did it wrong. So we're going to have to do it again. Okay, so we take the directory. Then we clap northwest, hop, south, southeast, clap. Southeast down, Quipa, northeast, clap, hop, west, north, northwest. Clap, east, west, Quipa, hop, clap, southwest. It didn't take me where it's supposed to take me. That is not nice. I guess we'll just keep going. It was supposed to be the burial chamber here, but that's not what I'm seeing. North, we'll just keep going, I guess. Clap, northeast, east, hop, clap, Quipa, northwest, clap, hop, north. And that takes us back to the ladder room. So the burial chamber wasn't where it was supposed to be for us, and we ended up just circling around to the ladder room. Then we go up from here. You climb for a seemingly endless time, with the ladder becoming increasingly rickety. Suddenly a rung snaps and you tumble into the darkness. You bounce painfully into a slanted ventilation shaft, slide through a wooden grating, and land amidst thousands of silk braziers. We've made it to the laundry room. I hope I have everything I need. One of the less pleasant aspects of running a palace is the sheer volume of dirty laundry its occupants produce. Why, the 8,379 wives alone could keep a crew of cleaners sleepless. Add in the servants, cooks, gardeners, stable hands, gestures, visiting nobles, brothers-in-law, and virtual permanent residents. Suffice it to say that there's one hell of a lot of dirty laundry here. You can barely see the exit to the north through it all. Today must be drying day at the laundry since there's only one clothespin left. Trent follows you. So apparently I was supposed to grab the phone book, and the guy just didn't tell me. The guide's been failing me a bit today. All right, then we'll drop the map. We'll take the pin. Yeah, you can get the, you can follow the catacombs through your map, but geez, it's just a nightmare. All right, north to the main hall of the palace. We have been here before. Yes. Yes, we have been here before. Then east to the Oriental Garden, southeast to the base of tower. A slender tower protrudes magnificently above the palace grounds. A stair winds up into the tower, and an Oriental Garden spreads out to the northwest. Okay, we will go up here to the minaret. It is a sultan, so there's going to be a minaret. By standing erect at the parapet of this mighty tower, you command an exciting view. Below, gardens and courtyards intermingle with the palace buildings, forming the fertile oasis in the Martian desert. Off to the west, docks straddle a deep canal. On the far shore, sand dunes lap at crumbling buildings. On the top step of a winding stair is a black circle. Okay, let's drop the torch. Some of those sentences didn't, I get the picture he's trying to paint, but it just didn't work for me. So we drop the torch, enter the circle. Right. It's too dark to see a thing. A few seconds later, you feel Trent's elbow appear, followed almost immediately by the rest of them. Once again, we don't know which elbow. We only know his butt. We'll wait. All right. And we fall through the hole again. Suddenly part of the floor collapses and you and Trent tumble through the resulting hole. And we've made it to the cell. You're in a large cell with a soft cushiony floor. A wide door, now open, forms the southern wall of the cell. This is almost where we started. Among the new rubble, you notice a black circle attached to a piece of what used to be the floor of the cramped space. What a great cell, says Trent, looking around. Why didn't I get a cell like this? Maybe I shouldn't have kicked that guard in the nuts when I first got here. Probably. Let's head up from here. You can't reach this hole in the ceiling? Was I supposed to take a ladder or something? Once again, they are failing me here. Right. What? I'm looking at another guide here. What are they telling me? Apparently I was supposed to pick up a raft along the way, so I did need to get that. Oh. All I have to do is go south. Hopefully I don't need that raft that the other guide says. We go south of here to the end of the hallway first. Then we go up to the observation room. Yeah, that's not exactly what I thought was going to happen, but that is what the other guide says. Up again. There we go. That's where I needed to go. To the roof! I love putting multiple guides together to figure out what I need to do. Your view extends to the horizon, which on tiny Phobos usually means a few hundred feet. Thrusting up into sight beyond the horizon are the arching towers and curving domes of the notorious pleasure palace of the Leather Goddesses of Phobos. On a wide plain between here and the palace, powerful warships are poised for the imminent invasion of Earth. Mars dominates the view. A dull red orb spans a quarter of the sky. Bright blue canals lace the surface, and white caps of ice are visible at both poles. Stairway leads down into the building. Near the edge, seemingly painted onto the roof, is a black circle. You're able to jump to the ground, but frankly, we advise against it. All right, let's wear the balm. You coat your lips with the glistening balm, using up the whole stick. The whole stick! All right, we'll put the pin on the nose. You pin your proboscis. We'll drop all. So we do have the clothespin, which I don't remember picking up, but we must have at some point. All right, let's close our eyes. Cover ears with hands. And we'll kiss the frog. I feel like once again I'm missing something. What the hell's going on? I need to enter the circle at one point, don't I? Enter the circle. There we go. There's the frog. No, there's no frog. Back to the Martian desert. And then this time we go east to another ruin, and then there's the frog. What the hell is going on? Okay, so we can close our eyes, cover ears with hands, and kiss the frog. Okay. You lean forward with your eyes closed, your nose shut, and your ears covered, and your lips smeared with balm. Planting your mouth solidly against the frogs, you kiss deeply. When you feel a tongue sliding into your mouth, revulsion gives way to pleasure, and the no longer enchanted but quite enchanting princess presses against you. Rubbing her hot, naked body against yours, she effortlessly slips off your brass loincloth. A warm and wild feeling springs from your loins, spreading like a fiery potion through your veins. Within moments you are joined in passionate love, and just as a quick and lustful orgasm seems inevitable, a force crackles in the air, and you are alone, naked, sweating, and unsatisfied. As you gather up your garment and put it on, you notice a common household blender on the ground. There's an engraving on its side. Trent is at the other end of the ruins, sifting through some rubble, oblivious to your experience. All right, we'll remove the pin. We'll remove the bomb. We'll drop the pin. We'll get all but pin. I was supposed to like go for first, wasn't I? You know what? I'm gonna redo a little bit of this. Hold on, because this is just starting to get ridiculous. I think I need all the other stuff. Okay, I have cobbled together what I need to do in order to make all of this work. Kind of once again, I'm going back and forth between a couple things here. So we're back to where the phone book was. We need to get that phone book. But then what we actually need to do is get to the burial chamber that I was talking about before. So we got the phone book. We then need to clap, otherwise we will die. Then I need to put the phone book in the bag. Then I need to hop, or I will die. Then I can go northwest, south, clap, southeast, southeast, Quipa, down, clap, hop, northeast, west, north, clap, northwest, east, Quipa, hop, clap, west, southwest, southwest. And that gets me to the burial chamber. All right, so I need to get here. Generations of sultans and sultanesses are entombed here, along with their vast wealth, their favorite servants, and some form of transportation to the next world. For example, one sultan lies amidst mountains of rubies, surrounded by a fleet of dirigibles. On the other hand, another sultan had a considerably more modest vision of the afterlife, bringing only a simple rubber life raft. All right, so we're going to get the raft, and then I'm going to save again because I do not like this. And then I believe I can kind of reset everything by just doing everything all at once. So we will clap, hop, and Quipa. And then we will go north, we'll clap again. Northeast, east, hop, clap, Quipa. Northwest, clap, hop, north. And that should take us to the ladder room, which we need to go through again. All right, so once again, kind of cobbling things together, but we'll get everything we need. We'll head up into the laundry room. We'll drop the map. We'll take the pin, go north, east, southeast to the base of tower, up, drop the torch, enter circle, wait. Okay. So then we can go south, up, and up again to the roof like we were before. Then we can enter the circle and go east to the other ruin. Let's go ahead and drop another save here because this is where I kind of rejoin everything and back to where we were. We'll wear the bomb, put the pin on the nose, drop all, close eyes, cover ears with hands, and then we can kiss the frog and see if all that works for me. Okay, then we can remove the pin, remove the bomb, drop the pin, get all but pin, and I think we're good to go from here. I think so. Let's head east, then back to the desert, southeast to the oasis, where there is a little bunny rabbit. Can we enter? Yeah, there is a circle here. Yes, we can. I don't think we've been to here before. This is a remarkable sight on arid Mars. Subsurface water bubbling up in a fountain. No, we have done this before. And a little bunny rabbit is sipping at the waters of the oasis. Leave you alone. Go into the circle. Then we'll go. Now we're back in Cleveland. Northeast and east back to the garden. Enter the circle there. North to the cell. Enter the circle there. To the main hall of the palace. West will put us near the dock. Can we just push the orange button from here? We can. Then we'll go east and east. Back to the garden. Then we'll look inside the well here. Handholds lead downward. All right. We will wait 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Then we will climb down the well. Some of these things, it's just weird, but that's what we need to do. You climb down the well for a long distance. Near the bottom, the handholds end, so you and Trent leap the rest of the way, staying on a black circle. You're sucked into the hole in a direction that isn't familiar, but neither is it one of the other directions with which you're familiar. We got warped again. Now we're back in the Martian Canal in the Royal Barge. The Royal Barge rocks gently in the current of a wide canal. How you're supposed to time that, I'm not sure. Maybe there's another way to do this, but that is an intense puzzle, so to speak, right there. The banks of the canal are steep and sandy. A few seconds later, you see Trent's big toe appear, then the rest of them. The Royal Barge barges further down the canal. A wide dock spans the canal to the south. The Royal Barge butts up against it, pinned to the dock by the current. Now we're at the icy dock, still in the Royal Barge. This is the southern terminus of the canal. Far below this dock, teleportation machinery transports massive quantities of water back to the head of the canal in the equatorial region of Mars. It's quite chilly and the dock is covered with a sheet of ice. To the south, as far as you can see, is the bleak whiteness of the southern ice cap. Sorry, not the K. Ice cap. All right, we will exit and we will... You and Trent get out of the Royal Barge. This doesn't look good for Trent. With a whoop of surprise, Trent loses his footing on the ice, skids right into the canal, and is immediately dragged under by the strong current produced by the underwater teleporters. You search frantically for any sign of him, but after several agonizingly long minutes, you abandon all hope. As you gaze across Trent's watery grave, your eyes fill with tears. You hang your head in sorrow for a moment to honor your brave, loyal companion who gave his life that humanity might be safe from the terrible scourge of the Leather Goddesses of Phobos. Probably means something important is going to happen, and then Trent's probably going to come back. Once again, where are these goddesses? Still killed an hour. All right. Edge of the polar ice cap. This snowy plain is barren of all signs of life. Drifts block travel in all directions but north, south, and southeast. It's pretty cold, but nothing a tough guy like yourself can't stand. We'll head southeast to the Penguin Park. Even on Mars, one could hardly expect a polar visit without seeing penguins. Well, here they are. There's no penguins at the North Pole, just saying. A whole waddling mass of them. A pack so dense they completely block the path to the southeast. Other paths lead west and northwest. One penguin teasingly waves a sign in your direction, much like a matador waving his cape toward a bull. All right, we'll give the coin to the penguin. The penguin, satisfied by your donation to the PRF, part ranks for you to pass. Penguin Relief Fund? I think that's what they're going for. The going rate for donations to the fund must be 9 Mars mids, since one of the penguins hands you a 1 Mars mid coin. All right, let's head southeast to the Gypsy Camp. This is the campsite of a family of nomadic robotic gypsies. A ragged tent is pitched on the north side of the camp and trails lead northwest and south. A male and a female robot emerge from the tent, waving in a gesture of gypsy-ish greeting. Hello, weary traveler. We are but poor gypsies, but we invite you to spend the night in our humble tent and share our simple but delicious oil and silicon stew. Suddenly, in an event so shocking that even a hardened space opera hero like yourself is stunned beyond belief, a meteorite shrieks through the atmosphere and completely obliterates the two robots. You hear the sound of high-pitched crying, slightly muffled, coming from inside the tent. Let's go inside the tent. This tattered tent, home to the deceased robots, provides meager protection against the cold polar winds. You can exit to the south, because we went north to get into the tent. A little baby robot is shivering in the corner. It stops crying long enough to open a tiny metal eyelid and look at you. Mommy, it says, in a quavering, high-pitched metallic voice. The baby continues to wail at the top of its lungs. Let's take the baby. Take the baby. The baby continues to wail at the top of its lung. Wrap baby in blanket. We're going to soothe the baby. It's going to be fine. The baby stops crying and, in the comfy warmth of the blanket, slips into a calm sleep. A peaceful smile creeps over his face. We will put the baby in the basket. And then we will just leave with the baby. South, back to the gypsy camp. That doesn't have much to say anymore. Then south to the South Pole. You are standing near the front stoop of a very large igloo. South Pole? Its door is flanked by a faded sign and a barred window. Paths lead north, north, and north. We will place the baby on the doorstep here. You place the baby gently on the stoop and sneak behind a nearby snowdrift. We will wait twice. A matronly woman of massive proportions and rather cubical aspect opens the igloo door. She coos over the baby for a moment and then carries it inside, closing the door behind her. I'm so confused now. We'll open the door and then we will enter. And we made it to the orphanage. This is the orphanage foyer. The igloo's front hall has rooms to the northeast and northwest. A barred window is next to the open door to the south. You can see a pair of cotton balls here. We will take the balls. Then we will exit, head back north to the gypsy camp, northwest to the penguin park, northwest to the edge of the polar ice cap, and south to the illusion room with an A. A solitary black circle is the only break in a vast expanse of whiteness extending to the horizon. Yep, that's what it says. Like a dark speck in a sea of light or a huge piece of typing paper with but a single period typed upon it, this black circle seems to have been placed here entirely as an opportunity for some silly literary illusions. To avoid the danger of accidentally typing an L and having to read them again, follow the faint trails to the north or east. Nope. We're going to enter the circle. To What's Up, Doc? This tiny dock is the maritime entrance to the once famous What's Up, Doc section of Mars. East of the dock is a wide north-south canal. You can hear a gurgling sound to the west. There's a chill in the air. You might be approaching the South Polar Cap. From here we will head west to the oasis. Oh, there's something new here. Like a wet watermelon seed being squirted from between two fingers, Trent is ejected from the fountain and lands in a dripping heap at your feet. Good thing I'm so good at holding my breath, he says. He made it. West again to the Martian desert, northwest to another ruin, west to the Martian desert, north to the ruin, north to the throne room, north again to the royal docks. We're going to put the raft in the canal at this point. The raft is now bobbing in the canal. If you weren't holding it, it would surely be carried away. All right, we will enter the raft. As you and Trent board the raft, the current sweeps it away from the dock. The sandstorm's still coming. A dock is close enough to grab on the southern shore, but we're not going to go for that. We are going to wait several times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now there is a dock close enough to grab on the southern shore, so we're going to grab that dock. You lunge for the dock and secure a handhold. An agile climber places you and Trent on the dock. To keep it from floating away, you pull the raft out of the water, and we've reached the Donald Dock. First we have Bugs Bunny, now we have Donald Duck. We haven't talked about them yet, but I believe we will. We'll definitely talk about Donald. I don't know if we'll talk about Bugs. This dock on the south shore of the canal is named after Don Donald, the first resident of Mars. There are no paths leading inland, but a tall dune to the south is less steep than the others. All right, let's head south to the dune top. From this vantage, you can see the canal curving south, a bit downstream from here. Just after this bend, 2 docks flank the canal, an opulent dock on the east bank and a dilapidated one on the closer shore. You could slide down the dune to the north or the east. Let's head east then, to the Canal View Mall. As with all Martian civilization, this once fashionable shopping center has fallen upon hard times. The only store to have endured the 15 millennia recession lies to the south. The canal is still as visible as it was when scheming marketeers misnamed the mall generations ago. In other words, not at all. A path leads east and a dune to the west seems mountable. We'll head south to the exit shop. This store is in good shape only relative to the other shops in the mall. For example, the last time it was vacuumed, humans were just inventing writing. The dust nearly covers the proprietor, who sits forlornly in the corner beneath a faded sign. An exit is barely visible through the dust to the north. Trent loyally stands at your side. The proprietor stirs somewhat from his lethargy. Don't get many customers these days, since they abandoned the dock. In fact, you're only the third in the last 150 centuries. He slips back into a drowse. All right, we will buy the exit, because it's a shop where you buy exits. We'll buy the exit with the coin. The proprietor slowly focuses one eye on the coin. Not much in stock these days, he explains. My supplier went bankrupt 90,000 years ago. He takes the coin and starts to hand you a cardboard tube, but his eye drifts out of focus again, and he drops it warily into the dust. A warning for any Jerry Falwell groupies who are miraculously still playing, we'll be using the word tits in 5 turns or so. Please consult the manual for the proper way to stop playing. Jerry Falwell, he's a... he was, I believe that he has passed. He was a TV evangelist. There we go. I almost want to say evangelist. He preached the Bible on weekends on television. Made a lot of money doing that. All right, let's go ahead and rake the dust. You grasp a tube, then we can head north to the Canal View Mall again. Then we can open the tube. Opening the tube reveals a flexible black circle. Only a few turns until the tits reference. Use quit now if you might be offended. Let's drop the exit, and then we will enter the exit. We've made it to the boudoir on the divan. There's only enough light here to make out vague shapes. You seem to be lying on a plush divan. You hear heavy breathing from nearby and realize you are not alone on the couch. A pleasing odor comes from close by. A few seconds later, you see Trent's earlobe appear, followed almost immediately by the rest of them. Last warning, the word tits will appear in the very next turn. This is your absolutely last chance to avoid seeing tits used. We will stand. You get out of the divan. A hyperdimensional traveler suddenly appears out of thin air. My sister has tremendous breasts, said the traveler, and without further explanation vanishes, leaving only a vague trace of interdimensional ozone. Oh, regarding the use of tits, we changed our mind at the last minute. Everybody agreed it was too risque. You keep teasing me. Can I call you Steve? You keep teasing me, Steve. All right, we will wait. Looks out only twice. You hear a click and the room is flooded with light. Oh no, you have violated the sanctity of a boudoir. And not just any old boudoir, but an extremely secret and private boudoir. And not just any old extremely secret and private boudoir, but an extremely secret and private boudoir belonging to the Leather Goddesses of Phobos. The escaped prisoners, cries one of the Leather Goddesses of Phobos. Sound the alarm! We finally made it! Inform the guards, yells another. Call out the army! Alert the space fleet! Summon my masseur, says the single unfrantic goddess, calmly pulling a lever. As the floor opens up, you and Trent plunge down a long chute, and we've made it to the plaza. This is a wide plaza between the arching towers and curving domes of the notorious pleasure palace of the Leather Goddesses of Phobos. It is a lovely bucolic area of gushing fountains, curving flower beds and lawns of thick green grass. Birds fly amongst the trees and singing peacefully as baby squirrels hop across the lawn, lazily collecting nuts. A half-megaton grenade explodes nearby as the palace guards attempt to repel some unwanted intruders, namely you and Trent. Trent shouts, okay, this is it. Gotta start building that super-duper anti-Leather Goddesses of Phobos attack machine. Hand me a common household blender. All right, give blender to Trent. We're going to finally put this all together. Trent grabs the common household blender and quickly incorporates it into his contraption. The guards now have reinforcements. A row of imposing radium-powered tanks are rolling towards you. Trent, hammering and twiddling madly at the growing machine, yells, "Okay, things are going great. Hand me a rubber hose." Give hose to Trent. Trent grabs the rubber hose and quickly incorporates it into his contraption. Giant berserk robotoid sumo wrestlers, each madly waving about 36 samurai swords, are now storming across the plaza at you. Trent, hammering and twiddling madly at the growing machine, yells, "Okay, things are going swell. Hand me a pair of cotton balls." Give balls to Trent. Trent grabs the pair of cotton balls and quickly incorporates it into his contraption. With a swooping roar, the main attack fleet of the Leather Goddesses of Phobos joins the attack. Several nearby trees are suddenly vaporized. Trent, hammering and twiddling madly at the growing machine, yells, "Okay, things are going fantastically. Hand me an 82-degree angle." Give angle to Trent. Trent grabs the 82-degree angle and quickly incorporates it into his contraption. The palace guards are setting up a massive dematerialization ray. Closer by, a sumo robot discovers a boulder in its path, and a large quantity of gravel is created. Trent, hammering and twiddling madly at the growing machine, yells, "Okay, things are going perfectly. Hand me a headlight." Give headlight to Trent. Trent grabs the headlight and quickly incorporates it into his contraption. A Phobosian chomper is faster than a cheetah, meaner than a Tyrannosaurus Rex, bigger than a sperm whale, and as hungry as the state of Texas. We mention this because 50 of them just entered the plaza and spotted you. Trent, hammering and twiddling madly at the growing machine, yells, "Okay, things are going terrific. Hand me a mouse." Give mouse to Trent. Trent grabs the mouse and quickly incorporates it into his contraption. Several 50-foot craters appear as the main attack fleet begins lobbing ion bombs. As they veer around for a more precise attack, the tanks close in, and you realize that each one is larger than the Upper Sandusky City Hall. Trent, hammering and twiddling madly at his growing machine, yells, "Okay, things are going boffo. Hand me a photo of Jean Harlow." Give photo to Trent. Trent grabs the photo of Jean Harlow and quickly incorporates it into his contraption. A couple of buildings behind you silently vanish, indicating that the palace guards are better at assembling a death ray than at aiming it. However, in 60 centuries of repelling intruders, they've never missed twice. Meanwhile, one of the chompers has stopped to swallow a herd of goats that was grazing nearby, thus slowing it down for a full 1/10 of a second. Trent, hammering and twiddling madly at the growing machine, yells, "Okay, things are going hunky-dory. Hand me a Cleveland phone book." Give phone book to Trent. Trent grabs the Cleveland phone book and quickly incorporates it into his contraption. The guards have finished aiming the death ray and have begun the activation sequence. The ground quakes as the Berserko robotoids plow through the rubble toward you. The wind from their whirling swords knocks over a few trees. The tanks loom above you, their gun turrets blocking out the sun. Beyond them, the main attack fleet is sweeping in for a final attack. Trent, hammering and twiddling madly at the growing machine, yells, "Okay, things are going neato peachy keen. There, I think it's all done. Cross your fingers, kiddo." He switches on the device. Amidst showers of sparks, a powerful electric arc bridges 2 electrodes. The machine shudders, and you smell something yellow shoot from the machine. Scratch and sniff spot number 7. The first time that we got that. Does anybody want to tell me what that is? Because we haven't done any of them. I don't believe that anybody tells me what it says. I don't know what it's supposed to smell like. I never had the scratch and sniff. Where are we? All right, from the beginning. Through the smoke of battle, you see a banana peel squirt from the super-duper anti-Leather Goddesses of Phobos attack machine. The peel lands a few feet away. Oh, it was a banana. As the super-duper anti-Leather Goddesses of Phobos attack machine gives one final shudder and self-destructs in an orgy of flames and shrapnel. That's the orgy? The attacking forces continue to close, and certain death is only seconds away when one of the chompers, loping towards you at nearly Mach 1, steps on the banana peel and slips a few inches to the side before righting itself. This is enough, however, to nudge a tank into a crater, tripping one of the samurai robots. More and more of the attacking forces plow into the mess in the crater, like some improbably fantastical football tackle. A stray grenade lands right in the midst, and the resulting plume of debris shears the fins off the leading warship. Your heart leaps as the entire main attack fleet of the Leather Goddesses of Phobos plummets towards the ground. The mass of flaming metal strikes the ground, and a tremendous explosion knocks you senseless. Eventually, daylight intrudes upon your senselessness and illuminates a sleepy-looking gas station. You are lying at the edge of a dusty road, once again wearing your comfortable old overalls. Though dirty, disheveled, and bleeding from a few superficial cuts, you are nevertheless aglow in the knowledge that the Earth is safe from the threat of the Leather Goddesses of Phobos. As your head clears, 3 uniformed girls come bouncing out of the service station towards you. "Oh my goodness," they coo in perfect unison. "Are you all right?" Coming soon from Infocom, gas pump girls meet the pulsating inconvenience from Planet X. 398 turns, you have achieved a score of, call it 315 out of 315 points. This gives you the rank of Interplanetary Emperor. We have done it. We have beaten the game. With the gameplay, it is time to talk about how it holds up today. Playing the game today, I did have fun playing Leather Goddesses of Phobos. The game is fun. With that said, the humor is kind of the standout thing for me. There's a lot of innuendo in this game. There's a lot of puns, a lot of things that are kind of going on to make the game entertaining. I think that the plot itself is a little lacking. I feel like the fact that you just kind of are along for the ride with your companion who just keeps dying and coming back is a little bit lackluster, especially considering kind of the hype that is kind of built throughout the game and the amount of times that they warn you about crude content. Doesn't really live up to that, does it? There's basically one kind of sex scene in it and a couple mentions of things here and there, but otherwise it's all just kind of suggestive more than anything else. And maybe I missed some of the things by not doing the wrong thing, essentially by sticking to the right path. Maybe I avoided some of the other things that were kind of prevalent throughout the game. But I feel like there's one of the big things that Steve Maretsky is doing with this game is toying with the expectations of the player. The fact that the only scratch and sniff that we used was, I believe, the last one, number 7, and it turned out to be a banana. That's something that would be a prank by Steve Maretsky on the players, and I appreciate that, but at the same time, it is a little bothersome that I was underwhelmed kind of by the end, because there seemed to be so much that I missed out on, but I don't really think that was the case. We just kind of went around, got the things, put it all together, and then we never even really saw the Leather Goddesses of Phobos, except in one scene where they kind of ran away and then we started assembling things. It all just kind of rushed together at the end. So I think the plot does leave something to be desired. I think that the way that the subject matter was treated, it also leaves a little bit to be desired. I feel like the characters aren't necessarily fleshed out, but they often aren't in games like this, but it did feel like a lot of the female characters are just kind of there to be used, or they're either seen as the sex objects, for lack of a better term, because nobody has sex with them, or are just kind of there to say thank you and hand you something and then you move on. And considering that pretty much most people that I think are going to be playing this game are going to be predominantly male. That's the way that it's going to be viewed. And of course, that's pretty typical for 1930s sci-fi, but I think by the 80s it could have been handled a little bit better, maybe a little bit more obvious that it's a satire, because it's not necessarily fully there. But that's basically the game. You get all 8 objects together through the circles. You kind of find out what is going on. But yeah, the Leather Goddesses of Phobos, they're on Mars, not the moon. They're on the planet. Throws me off a bit. So the game is fun. Would I recommend it to somebody in a modern audience? I mean, if you like the Steve Moretsky games, I would say yes. I wouldn't say this should be your first Moretsky game. I think that Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and Planetfall I liked more, but there is definitely an appeal here. It's just that it feels like there's a bit of a prank on the player, assuming that you're going to be playing this game for sexual content, and the game doesn't really give that to you. It doesn't really. In any way, I would say if that's what you're looking for, which I'm often not in video games, there's much better games for you out there than this one. This one's much more of a tease than anything else. So is it worth checking out if you're a fan of Moretsky games? If you're a fan of Infocom games already, you liked playing some of the other ones, then this will have something for you. But I don't think this game necessarily stands out among the Infocom games, especially by the time that it came out. So if you're not interested in text adventure games, don't like Infocom, don't like Moretsky, then this game can easily be avoided. And that's my modern take on the game. When the game was released, Leather Goddesses of Phobos was popular. It was Infocom's most popular game in 1986, selling over 50,000 copies that year. In total, the game sold around 130,000 copies. The critics at the time also enjoyed the game. The gameplay, inventiveness, and humor of the game were praised. The game failed to stir up much controversy. Leather Goddesses of Phobos would see a sequel. We will keep an eye on that as we continue. As for Infocom, they would capitalize on the success of the game to continue creating interactive fiction games under Activision's management. We will hear from Infocom again. As for Steve Moretsky, he would continue creating interactive fiction games as well. We will hear from Steve Moretsky in the future as well. That will do it for the story of Leather Goddesses of Phobos for now. My name is Ballerscuba. This has been Video Games Over Time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in our next video when we find some eggs.